away from Coco Gauff and gave it to Vekic. And so, I mean, this chair judge awarded her the point and said he didn't believe the out call should have affected her swing. And so she goes over. This is kind of, it's crazy. So she's upset. She goes over to the chair umpire and she's pleading her case, and she's totally right. And she's in tears. She says to this guy, and you can hear her, he called it out before I hit it, so I went up on the ball. This isn't fair. He called it out before I hit the ball. If he called it out...
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that...
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Spain beat Greece. I'm looking for this Canada final. They were playing Australia. You got that by any chance? Because last I saw was 6 minutes to go and Canada was up by 4. That's that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander team, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks.
I think Canada has the second most active NBA players right now.
Yeah. I've been looking for a final on it. I can't. Let me see if I can find one somewhere. But that's going on. USA plays South Sudan coming up next. Greece got beat. Giannis Antetokounmpo had a big game, but they're 0-2. Spain beat Greece. And then did you catch the gymnastics last night? The men's gymnastics team winning bronze medal. I was pretty emotional, man.
Big.
Huge, right?
Yeah. First medal since, 2008?
Yeah. And I thought it was so cool. The kid from Penn State, the kid who's just there to do the pommel horse, right? The kid in the glasses. He's there. He's got one thing to do. And I'm like, come on, man. Like I don't know you, but you're there because you're really good on the pommel horse. And the whole thing came down to the final event, and it was the pommel horse. And come on, dude, don't mess this up. And it's this dude who you would look at and you would, right, if he was at the progression at the opening ceremonies, you're like, what are you doing here, dude? I mean, he's joked, don't get me wrong, but he is an expert. They say he's the best in the world on the pommel horse, and he killed it. And I get it, a bronze medal, and they celebrated like they won gold, and it was a big, big, big deal for Team USA to win that bronze medal yesterday. I thought it was really cool last night to watch them just celebrate their first men's gymnastics medal in 16 years. It was his name is Steven Nedorosik. And that Frederick Richard. So they got 2 kids from Michigan, 2 from Stanford, and the one from Penn State. But that Freddie Richards, man, Frederick Richard is something else. Paul Judah. The 2 Wolverines, my kids kind of, yep, go blue. She's all about her now fellow, her classmates now. But she's all about it. Catch a little Olympus yesterday, did you?
Caught him every day.
Yeah, what'd you like yesterday?
I was watching boxing.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Street skate.
Street skate? Where do you find all this?
So they have on YouTube TV.
Yeah.
It's not just the NBC USA broadcast, they have like overflow channels where it's just like Olympics coverage.
We're gonna get
They're
some
watching
Olympics right now.
C1 canoeing finals.
Really?
It's just kind of like feeds of everything they got going
Feed
on.
me. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good. USA women's basketball 102, Japan 76. The United States women since 1992 in the Olympics are 56 and 0. 56 and 0. 64 points in the paint. They took advantage of their size. Asia Wilson 24 points, 13 rebounds. Brianna Stewart 22 and 8 along with 2 blocks. And they just toyed with the Japanese ladies on their way to a 102-76 win. That was a rematch of the 2021 gold medal game. Is that the next best team? Is Japan the next best team? And they just beat them by 20-something, 25 points?
Yeah, this is one where the United States just continues to lap the field.
I mean, it doesn't
Which is-
matter. who they
It's
play.
understandable. You look at how long and it took the rest of the world to try to catch up to the United States in soccer.
And men's
And you're
basketball.
Starting to see it,
Oh, and women's
Yeah,
soccer.
and
Women's soccer. Yeah.
and then you're starting to see more of an investment across the board, and that's the hard thing. It's just having the backing that investment.
So we were just ahead of the world in women's athletics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's right.
In the team sports.
Yeah, not in skiing, not in tennis, certainly not in golf, but in women's team sports, soccer, basketball, softball. Although softball's not part of it anymore. But yeah, so probably in 20 years, you think the WNBA looks as international as the NBA?
If there's investment in it,
I'm not
Yes.
sure what it's worth to other countries, right? I mean, they've got what's the word I'm looking for? Not camps, the academies that they send their kids to at very young ages in many sports. Like gymnastics, you see that machine, that Chinese gymnast, the guy who went last. He was on the parallel bars last night. He was unbelievable. Like JJ, I'm trying to decide which discipline impresses me more. You said parallel bars, and it was kind of 3 to me, and then I watched that, and I'm like, oh smokes! Like I don't even know which one I think is crazier than the next. What they're doing on one arm, this Nedorosik kid, the kid with the one arm twirls on the pommel horse was unbelievable. The balance beam just stuns me because of the balance. The rings is just sheer strength, and then the agility and the speed and the bendability, what's the flexibility on the stinking parallel bars, dude. Gymnastics is stupidly crazy. I'm impressed. Do you find a Canada score by any chance? I keep looking. I can't find it. I'll find it for you. All right. I got a lot to do today, man. We're going all over the place today. 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. Emails jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. Who'd they play? Canada, Australia? JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. The 93-83 was the final. Oh, they're in the fourth quarter. 93-83 Canada right now in the fourth quarter. We got a guest list for you today. Coming up at 8 o'clock. This is coming to town this week. The U.S. Deaf Women's National Soccer Team is in town. And this is kind of a big deal. They won the 1991 FIFA World Cup, the head coach, Amy Griffin. And this team is preparing for the 2025 Deaf Olympics in Tokyo. And they are really, really good. They're playing Lobo women's soccer team. Is that the deal?
yes, they are.
On-
So they're having their training camp in town this week, and they have a friendly against UNM Friday night.
All right. So that's going to be at 8 o'clock. You're going to talk with Amy Griffin. And this is a big deal. And it's in Albuquerque, and you get a chance to go out and watch it on Friday night. So we're going to do that coming up at 8 o'clock. Coming up at 8:30, we're going to be joined by Richard Neely. He's the president of the American Amateur Baseball Congress. That is the body that oversees the Connie Mack World Series, which is going on currently up in Farmington. Of course, it's gone on up there since 1965. Games going on, and really good baseball. I've been watching a lot of it. And then the championship game will be televised nationally on CBS Sportsnet on Saturday night. I will have the play-by-play along with Ray Birmingham and Scott Galletti. and looking forward to that and have a conversation with Richard Neely and get you caught up on everything that's going on with the Connie Mack World Series, which is one of our state's biggest annual events. So we got a big show for you today. Get in 505-246-0610. Certainly a lot of football to get through, as well as camps open up, including when we come back. He may be the best Bronco ever, but he'll tell you what his worst decision was. It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mayer here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
If you're drunk, blasted,
Intoxicated.
rip, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! This place is hot! Let's see it.
Canada was a winner. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he's really good. They were down at halftime was Canada. Came back and won. And winner. Canadian dinner. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Come on in today. 505-246-0610. Emails. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Who's the best Bronco of all time? Denver Bronco.
John Elway?
He is, right?
Yes.
All right. He's the best player. He might not be their best front office guy ever, but he's their best player ever, right? He was front office guy and GM and president of football ops or whatever he was for a while. He said that, and he's not wrong, by the way. And let me work backwards. Bradley Chubb, was he a pretty good Bronco?
No.
Probably not, right? All right. Back in whatever the draft was, 2018, I think it was. The Broncos were on the board. There was a quarterback available. They probably needed a quarterback. In fact, they needed a quarterback. There was a guy that was from right up the road in Laramie. It's where he played college, 2 hours up the road. Josh Allen was on the board, and the Broncos passed, and they took Bradley Chubb. Josh Allen's turned into a pretty good quarterback. Elway said on the, he was on Barstool Sports, on Pardon My Take, the podcast. He said, last year I played golf with Josh Allen, and I'm wondering how long is it going to take him to realize that I passed on him. It took Bradley Chubb. He said it took him 2.5 holes. He said, I loved him, but it just didn't work out. He was my type. That was probably my biggest mistake of my GM days, not taking Josh, end quote. He's 100% right.
This is such like a story. I look at it and go, if you loved him, why didn't you draft him?
Exactly.
Like, this makes
right.
no sense to me. Like, it was coming down to the wire and you're sitting there sweating. Well, then why aren't you talking about Lamar Jackson, who was the last pick of the first round?
But Lamar Jackson at that point
what if
probably
you would have selected Josh Rosen? Like, it's one of those stories. Like, yeah, it's easy for anyone to sit there and say, "Oh, that's my biggest mistake, not selecting the guy." Like, how close were you to actually considering him?
Yeah,
at that moment,
Lamar Jackson was probably way down on the board at that point, right? Where they were at 5th, right? Lamar Jackson was he the last pick of the first round?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, you were like one of the few guys. I remember that draft so well. I remember you were one of the few guys who was really, really, really on.
Because it's easy to sit there and say, "Oh, I should have took Josh Allen," or what if you sat there and took Josh Rosen?
Yeah,
who was the 10th overall.
But evidently, they had Josh Allen higher on the board. I mean, if that's what he's saying, right? He was there. They just signed Case Keenum. Case Keenum had a good season in Minnesota, right? And 2 years earlier, they took Paxton Lynch, who was similar quarterback. I don't know. I mean,
that's the thing. Like, if you loved Josh Allen, and you didn't take him, you can't then sit here 8 years later and be like, "Oh, I loved you so much. I should have."
You kind of can.
And you should have drafted him.
You should have. I mean, that's 100% right. They can both be right. Do you think, because you look at it, were they still stinging? I mean, Paxton Lynch was out of Memphis. Is that right? Is that where Paxton Lynch played?
Yes.
Right. So you got another FCS guy, non-power quarterback, big, tall guy, strong arm that you fell in love with. You took him. Now that was in the 26th pick. This would have been the 5th overall. But you took Paxton Lynch, who you evidently loved. He was going to be the next guy, and hell, he was beaten out by Trevor Siemian, right? And I'm going to guess they were probably gun shy. They're probably, if Josh Allen would have went to Colorado instead of Wyoming or Nebraska or Utah, I'll bet they would have taken him.
He's sitting there going, "Man, this kid who's only completed 56% of his passes, we're going to take him top 5 in the NFL draft." But I don't believe that they loved him at all.
You don't?
No.
You think it's just totally...
It's easy to sit there and say that after the fact.
I loved him. I should take him. I was really close, but I loved him. We took the pass rusher. And again, man, what's after quarterback, what's the next biggest position in football? It's an edge rusher, right?
Yes. It's not the worst selection there. Then usually, when you're looking at it, it's quarterback, protecting the quarterback, sacking the quarterback.
Look, if they took Josh Allen the trajectory of that franchise is so totally different than it is right now. And they haven't won a playoff game since when? I mean, they haven't reached the playoffs since winning the Super Bowl in 2015. They've gone through 13 different starting quarterbacks, as you said here, since Peyton Manning retired. They're going to go through at least another one again this year.
It's one, there's so many factors in this.
I get it.
Because Josh Allen could have easily flamed out. Because it wasn't just the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Like, that's the Vance Joseph team with Bill Musgrave as the offensive coordinator.
So what you're saying is Josh Allen's really lucky they didn't take him because he ended up where he did, and he was able to thrive in a system in Buffalo.
We did see, Brian Daboll working with Josh Allen and what Brian Daboll was able to do when he got his head coaching position and was able to win a playoff game with Daniel Jones.
What if Paxton Lynch would have gotten drafted into a situation like Josh Allen did?
There's always that small what-if percentage.
Oh, I agree that
Absolutely.
There's a lot of what if, what if Brock Purdy would have got drafted to anywhere else and he didn't get a chance? We wouldn't even know Brock Purdy's name, right? I mean, think about it. If Brock Purdy got drafted by the Cowboys, he'd still be sitting on the bench. If he got drafted by, just trying to think of what quarterback hasn't gotten hurt, and there really isn't one. But if he'd have gotten drafted by, well, certainly by Kansas City, but if he'd have got drafted by Cincinnati, maybe we'd know who he is. I guess everybody else has gone through a few quarterbacks, huh? Except for Detroit. All right, this just opened my eyes. Every single team in this league, except for Buffalo and Kansas City, you tell me where I'm wrong. A backup quarterback has had an opportunity in the last 3 years to become Brock Purdy. Hence where Gardner Minshew has come from. Hence what we saw in Cleveland last year, right? Every single team, like with the Browning, the guy from Washington that's at Cincinnati now, Jake Browning, made himself a lot of money last year, right? Every single team has had a quarterback go down where somebody has had an opportunity. Now, some have taken opportunities, some have not. And maybe not Detroit, right? Detroit hasn't. Jared Goff's been pretty solid. But outside of Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, every other quarterback's had some significant time down, no? That just shows the fragility of that position. And what we talk about all the time, I know this is off on a tangent, but it just kind of hit me. I mean, even Jalen Hurts, right, has gone down. Certainly the Cowboys situation, Daniel Jones has been down. Washington's gone through a few. Bears have gone through a few. I mean, the Packers situation, I guess, is now solid. Kirk Cousins was down. Atlanta, I mean, they've gone through a few. Carolina has. Derek Carr was down. Tampa Bay had last year. Baker played all year, but that's it. Kyler Murray's been down. Stafford's been down. Brock Purdy came up because of injury and incompetence in a lot of respect. Geno was down for a bit last year. Drew Lock played. I mean, Denver, certainly. The Raiders, certainly. Herbert was down last year. Trevor Lawrence was down. Richardson's got down. Houston was the first-year quarterback. Pittsburgh's gone through a bunch. Cleveland went through 5. Cincinnati was down. Lamar got hurt for a little bit. Aaron Rodgers was down all year. Patriots have gone through 15 of them. Tua. There's 3 franchises that have been completely steady at quarterback basically for 2 to 3 years. That's insanity, isn't it? But I mean, it's quite illustrative too. I don't know what it means. Literally, as I'm going through this exercise, it just dawned on me.
Yeah, and and the best one being available too has changed everything with Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Well, and then
we see him with Josh Allen.
Yeah. And Jared Goff's become Jared Goff and got paid for it, and he's been healthy. It's insane, and that's how Brock Purdy became Brock Purdy. Because if he gets drafted to the Lions, you don't know who he is, or the Bills for that matter. But he found a situation and took advantage of it, and is months away from getting paid. All right, 505-246-0610. All right, so that's the biggest mistake they made in the past. Now they've got a new quarterback. When will Bo Nix play? The new quarterback of the Broncos. We'll get into that when we come back. IPS protects my home. They protect businesses and homes all over Albuquerque and Santa Fe. They can protect yours as well. Don't wait until you're the victim of property crime to call IPS. International Protective Service has protected my home for years, and they give my family a peace of mind, my neighbors as well. That's why they use them. And I know you see them all over town at different retail outlets. Look, they've got officers strategically placed around Albuquerque, now Santa Fe. They react quickly. So if an alarm goes off at a place that they are protecting, they're there within 7 minutes or less. They catch criminals in the act. They detain them. They call police to pick them up. They deter crime. They provide standing guards if you need eyes on your property around the clock, install alarms and camera systems. Look, you're going on vacation, you're going on trips, you're not home all the time. Who's watching your home when you're not there? Make it be the good guys and not the bad guys, because a quick response to your alarm or standing guards of your business is what IPS does. You sleep better at night. You can't prevent all the crime, but if you have no protection, you're more likely to be victimized. So give them a call. The number's 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at IPSglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. but it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420.
It's not Josh Allen. John Elway didn't take him back in 2018. So who's your quarterback? Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, Zach Wilson. More likely, Zach Wilson starts or gets cut.
Starts. I think they keep all three quarterbacks.
Active each week?
Well, you can have the emergency quarterback.
Yep. And they've all taken turns with the turns with the first team offense. And that's been the way it's been all offseason. Bo Nix was asked over the weekend if he was prepared to, and the word was accept the backup job, if that's how it goes. He was talking to Jeff Legwold of ESPN. Quote, well, I don't know if I have a choice on that one. If I want to stick around, I better accept it, but I also don't necessarily want to become complacent and say, you know what, it's my rookie year. I'm okay with sitting back and learning. They'll play me when I'm ready, so I'm going to do my best to get ready. That was his quote. Sean Payton's in no hurry to run the rookie out there, it feels like. I mean, that's probably the right answer. I mean, accept it. I don't know. I'm not really ready to accept it, but I mean, I might have to, right? I think that was a fine answer. You have a problem with that?
No. It's one that the two situations that really jump out to me are Denver and New England, with being patient, not thrusting those first round picks out there, because I just don't see enough.
Minnesota falls in that too.
Yeah. I think J.J. McCarthy would be in a better position than Bo Nix and Drake May.
Because he's got better players around him.
Yeah. Better offensive system around him right now with the talent. But I look at New England and Denver, very similar. You want to hear that mindset from the rookie of competing, not wanting to take a step back from a franchise standpoint. This is one where I'm okay. There's a veteran quarterback out there for a little bit before you insert the rookie, because those two franchises are in the ultimate restart mode. And
it's because of the situation that you described, right? If you were, 2 years ago, where the Broncos were believed to have been, or at least they believed and their fans did, that they were just a quarterback away, right? I mean, that when Russell Wilson came in, they're just a quarterback away. Plug them in and play. Then it would be a lot different. For a franchise that hasn't been to the playoffs since 2015, how patient? So I'm asking this two ways, because what's ringing in my head is it doesn't really matter. When I asked Troy Calhoun the other day, the Air Force coach, remember when we were having the conversation, and I asked him how sustainable it is to continue to win at Air Force, and he said not really. And I said, does your fan base realize that? And he said, it doesn't matter. Right? Does it matter what your fan base thinks if you're the head coach? That you're basically going to have another year of not being very good?
I don't think it matters as much as the NFL as it would a college job.
Okay. Is ownership going to understand? This is new ownership now. This isn't long-term football people, right? This is the Walton family.
Yeah, they traded a first-round pick for Sean Payton last year.
I know. And meaning they expected big results probably pretty quickly.
and if they cut bait with Sean Payton after this season, then they're setting themselves up to be a disastrous ownership group.
Okay.
Because as much as there's giant questions out there,
yeah,
and you try to go in and get Sean Payton to save Russell Wilson, you have to show some patience because this team is not close to just changing a head coach and being good either.
So I think that's right. And I don't know, there's no track record on this ownership group. So I don't know how patient they're going to be. Obviously, they went out and got their guy. They spent the resources. They traded a first-round pick. They spent a lot of money. They got the guy they want. And I'm good with that, and I respect that. I just wonder how patient they're going to be because what it tells me is I went out and got that guy. I expect him to turn it around pretty quickly.
Yeah, and those expectations better change with your eyes and listening to football people.
It's interesting. They're going to be interesting in that sense to me this year. I don't know that I think they're going to win a lot of games. What's the over-under on them? If I was going to guess, it would be 5.5. Vegas's win total on them. I can't imagine it's very much. They go start out. They get Seattle on the road, home Steelers, at the Bucks, at the Jets, Raiders, Chargers, at the Saints, then the Panthers, and then the back end. Ravens, Chiefs, Falcons, Raiders, Browns, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs.
Yeah, the Broncos have been some trendy play to have the least amount of wins in the NFL.
What's the
and
number?
That's even with the Patriots and Panthers out there. It's 5.5.
It is 5.5. Yeah, that's what I would have guessed. Yeah, it's just, man, it's going to be a year. It's going to be a year with them. All right, other NFL stuff. Aaron Rodgers threw an interception on the second play of practice yesterday. Evidently, it was a well-thrown ball off the hands of Allen Lazard. Went downhill from there. Got sacked a few times. Half dozen off-target shotgun snaps from the center. Joe Tippmann. Rodgers had a fall on the ball. Another play, Rodgers was angry. He fell to the ground when a lineman, either Tippmann or John Simpson, stepped on his foot. Quote from Allen Lazard, I would say demonstrative is a good word for him. You're talking about one of the best, if not the best quarterback of all time, and his standard and level of play is something a lot of guys haven't seen yet. Even in this organization, they haven't really been with him on game day because being with him on the sideline on a Sunday is different. Honestly, he expects the same standard that he holds himself to out of everyone else, and today just didn't resemble that at all. I think as an offense, we were just a bit sloppy, end quote. He expects the same standard he holds everybody else to, JJ.
Practice? How about that?
They got to get to practice? I'm going to Egypt. He expects the same standard. What kind of years is he going to have? I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to be average. I think he's going to at times look spectacular and at times look 40 years old.
Yes. I think there's enough good where the Jets are competitive, especially with what they are able to do defensively. They have weapons that flash elite level talent in Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall.
Yep. Where is he on your fantasy football quarterback list?
It all depends on the size of your league and if it's a super flex league, which means you play two quarterbacks. Because if you're just in
all
one,
right, so
classic,
just go a 12-team, one quarterback
you're not touching
league.
him.
You're not touching him. He's not your backup quarterback?
I guess he could be on your roster if you're someone that likes to hold two quarterbacks.
Okay. I like to hold two quarterbacks because quarterbacks go down all the freaking time, dude. Unless I got Mahomes or Allen and I know who I'm doing, every week. Quarterbacks go down regularly.
Then you also had, full season of Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott.
Yeah. No, look, last year when I had Lamar, I had one dude at the end. I just looked at my roster from last year. I had Gardner Minshew backing him up because just in case he didn't play at the end or didn't go down or whatever. But yeah, I mean, when you got a guy like that, you know who you're playing every week. But because it gets scarce, man. When quarterbacks start getting hurt, and your guy goes down and you're on the waiver wire, it's like Gardner Minshew.
All about roster size and who you play.
Yeah, your basic 12-team, 16-person roster.
League, Rodgers could be a sit and hold, but I think for most players, they'll kind of keep their fingers crossed and get to their bye week.
Rodgers or Kirk Cousins?
I think both are starting on the bench.
I see Rodgers ahead of Matt Stafford. I mean, I'm just looking at a ranking right now. Rodgers or God is 16th. Rodgers or Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence.
Herbert is 17th on this.
Yeah, Herbert. I think the problem with the Chargers is they really don't have any weapons.
Right. At least we don't think so. Yeah.
I think with Justin Herbert too, and the new style for Harbaugh, they're really going to focus on running the football. And I think from a fantasy perspective, Herbert being a top 10 or 12 fantasy quarterback, you don't see a strong path for that.
Rodgers or Jaden Daniels?
I'll take Jaden Daniels.
Rodgers or Caleb Williams? So you got Daniels as your top rookie quarterback.
I just think if you're looking at what you can get out of it, I think Aaron Rodgers can be a good football player, but not a good fantasy.
It's all fantasy stuff, yeah.
And if Jaden Daniels can get me an occasional rushing touchdown.
You know, we probably need to do a fantasy football segment with you coming up here in the next 2 weeks because drafts are happening.
It's that time of year in August.
Yeah. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, that's going to be 8 o'clock. Amy Griffin, the head coach of the U.S. Deaf Women's National Team in soccer. They are in town to play the Lobos this weekend. What you learn about them is a pretty big deal, and how big this has gotten because the Deaf Olympics are coming up in Tokyo next year. And this is pretty much going to be the team that represents the red, white, and blue, and they are in the Borque this week. So we'll talk with Amy coming up at 8:30. Richard Neely, the president of the American Amateur Baseball Congress, the entity that is running the Connie Mack World Series, which is going on up in Farmington all week long. So that's what we got for you. If you want to get in next segment, 505-246-0610. And if you are hosting an event, and look, this could be a party, a reception, a holiday party for your company, a gathering, your fantasy football draft, whatever it happens to be, think about the Albuquerque Convention Center because they can handle whatever you've got and will do it great. They got over 600,000 square feet of flexible indoor and outdoor meeting space, the Kiva Auditorium, if you're looking for entertainment kind of events, concessions, bars, great food and beverage options. They cater to your needs right in the heart of downtown. So whether it's an intimate meeting or gathering or grand expo or conference, with staff, service, food and beverage options that go beyond and above, they will make your dream event a reality. We host events there. I've been to events there. I know you have as well. And every time I'm impressed. That's why I keep bringing Isleta New Mexico Bowl events back to the convention center every single year. They take care of the student athletes. They take care of our party, and we keep going back. I recommend them to you as well. Be at the center of it all. Call them at 505-768-4575. 505-768-4575, or go online at Albuquerque CC and get all your information.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like
big night at the Olympics last night. Imagine you watched some of that. Love to hear your thoughts. 505-246-0610. How big are you on the Olympics? Today, Canada beat Australia 93-83 in men's basketball. Greece got beat. Giannis Antetokounmpo had a big game, but they lost to Spain, so Greece is 0-2. Coco Gauff got beat. She is out. Third round in an emotional match. She lost to Donna Vekic of Croatia, 7-6 and 6-2. And you're going to end up seeing this, and it's uncomfortable. How about that? Have you looked at it yet? Emotional, I don't know is the right word. It's just uncomfortable. So Coco Gauff was crying on the court after an officiating decision. And she wasn't wrong. But the chair ump wouldn't listen, and she had tears streaming down her cheeks. It was at the same place where the reigning U.S. Open champion was eliminated in the third round of the Summer Games. This is what happened. It was break point. It was in the first set. And Vekic returned her serve, and it was called long. So you've seen this in tennis all the time. You hear long or out. And so she eased up and hit the ball into the net. Well, the chair umpire overruled it. And he overruled it correctly. The ball was in. And said it should not have affected her return or her swing. And she went over and said, look, man, I felt that he called it before I hit it, and I didn't think it was out. She says, what are we doing here? And the referee basically said, yeah, you're right, but I can't reverse my call. And she kind of got into an emotional mess, and she got beat. And it's going to be uncomfortable when you watch it. I'm just telling you. Really cool last night watching the gymnastics. The men team winning the bronze. That was actually really, really cool. But whatever you watch, whether it's the handball, JJ, or the badminton, you get a little Snoop doing play-by-play on the badminton. Oh, I want that, take that. Oh, what about this? Yeah. Badminton's kind of cool, too. All these things are pretty cool when you watch them at an elite level.
Yes, they are.
And you're like, I could do that. No, you can't. No, mountain biking. You can't.
So looking at the handball.
Yeah, I know you are.
I think that's the one I'm zeroed in on.
I watched the women's mountain biking. I don't know how long the course was. The French woman won by 2 minutes and 58 seconds. 3 minutes.
That's impressive.
Yeah, man, you can cook your microwave meal in 3 minutes. By the time something comes through. Yeah, that was really impressive. All right, we got baseball's trade deadline today, too. Blake Snell get traded? It's kind of the name I'm staring at. Dodgers, Braves, Cardinals, who does something? Mariners? Watch that as we go through it because, that's hours away from that now. Just hours away. You got the Dodgers, Cardinals, and White Sox did a 3-way deal yesterday. This was actually interesting. So I caught Yankees and Phillies were playing yesterday. I think it was 14-4 was the final. Phillies in the 7th inning were throwing a position player, just lobbing 52-mile-an-hour lollipops up there. Jazz Chisholm hit one out. And whoever the commentator was for the Phillies broadcast said he thinks there should be a mercy rule in Major League Baseball. And I'm like, what are we doing? But his case was, whether it's 10 runs after 7 innings, whatever. He said, look, man, the Phillies aren't trying right now. They got a third baseman. I get why they're doing it. They don't want to burn any more arms, but they're not trying. So what are we doing out here watching a baseball game? And I never, ever, 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 ever would have said, yeah, we should have a mercy rule in Major League Baseball, like you do in youth sports. But his point was, look, they've given up. They're not trying to win the game anymore. They got a guy throwing lollipops out here.
In the 7th inning?
In the 7th inning, the dude was, I'll tell you who the pitcher was. But it was a third baseman or something that was out there. And so you got the Yankees just taking these gigantic hacks at it, right? And popping them up and whatever. Jazz Chisholm finally did hit one out. But yeah, it was in the 7th inning. It was, where is it? Who's G Stubbs? Garrett Stubbs, a catcher, was pitching. And you're like, maybe it was the 8th, 5, 7. But you're like, what are we doing? So do you think there should be a mercy rule?
No.
I don't either.
And in professional sports, I don't think there should be a mercy rule. If it gets to a point where that's the decision you make, so be it. It just means you can go home earlier. If you're the fans. But if you got a guy just lobbing stuff up there.
Yeah, it was the 8th inning. It was the 8th inning. But whatever, man. I mean, his point is they've given up. You got your catcher throwing 52-mile-an-hour. The catcher wasn't even putting down a sign, dude. Dude was just throwing one pitch to try to get it over the plate at 52 miles an hour. I mean, that's Little League stuff. All right, we're going to talk some big-time stuff when we come back. The U.S. Deaf Women's National Team is in town. Amy Griffin is the head coach. She's executive director of the Seattle Rain Academy, but she also, JJ, has quite the tie to the University of New Mexico. She was the head coach at UNM, where she started the program back in 1993. She's back in town with the U.S. Deaf National Women's Team. It's the opening drive. She's next on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver.
Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor.
Familiar name and a familiar face. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Friday out at the UNM Soccer Complex. The U.S. Deaf Women's National Team will play against the Lobo Women's Soccer Team. And Amy Griffin, who is the head coach of the U.S. Deaf Women's National Team, is returning to Albuquerque. She was the head coach at UNM. She started the program back in 1993, currently the executive director of the Seattle Reign Academy, and she joins us this morning on The Sports Animal. Good morning, Amy. How you living?
I'm living great. Going and look for my first breakfast burrito the trip.
Yeah, I'll bet you got all kinds of different suggestions on where to go and get refamiliar with green chili, huh?
Very familiar. It was a healthy addiction.
Yeah, it's well, enjoy that and welcome back to town. Hey, before we get into it, there's going to be a lot of people who probably have never heard of the U.S. Deaf Women's National Team before, and kind of give a little background of who you are, who's comprises the roster, and I mean how good you are because you've never lost.
Well, it's funny. It's one of their mottos. Is a lot of people don't know about the program, and they always say they're the greatest team they've never heard of. But the team has not lost an international game, and they have 4 gold world championships, and 3 gold Deaf Olympic medals to show for it. And so Joy Fawcett and myself have been coaching the team since 2015, and we signed on to volunteer for a year, and here we still are. So it's been a great blessing to be able to coach these players and to increase the awareness and opportunities for deaf soccer players.
I mean, explain how does a young lady qualify to be on your team? Now, from what I understand, they're hearing impaired, not completely deaf. In fact, we stayed in a hotel when you beat Australia up in Denver back in June. We were with the Australian team and had a lot of conversations with them. And so they're not completely deaf, although some are, correct?
Yeah, so there's a variety of hearing loss. And so some people grow up with parents that are hearing, and so most often they aren't integrated into deaf culture. Some are and some aren't. And so they are verbal, and some only use ASL sign language, and some are a variety of everything. And Joy and I play charades a lot and pantomime and whatever we can do to communicate. So there's a variety of communication styles, and it's kind of what makes this team amazing. Is I know the deaf and hard of hearing culture, I've learned there's a little bit of a divide, and here everyone is like, whatever you need, we're here for you. We'll make it work. And I do think if everyone in society followed those guidelines, we'd be in a lot better place. So you have to be 55 decibels or less in your hearing in your best ear, right? So it has to be 55 decibels or worse in your best ear, and that makes you qualify. And so that would be if I was standing next to you and you slammed a car door, I wouldn't be able to hear it without using any devices. And then when we play in the world events, you're not allowed to use any devices. So that's what makes things interesting when people don't know sign language or aren't comfortable with it. Today we have a camp, and today will be the first time we're making the new players. We have 8 new players play without their hearing devices, and it will be really strange for them and sort of off balancing, and it's almost like a different sport.
You mentioned, in 2015, you signed up to volunteer for this, and you've worked, with soccer your entire professional career. What has been your biggest takeaway, off the field with this? You're just kind of discussing all the things you've learned, but is there something that you didn't think you would come to love about this job that you have fallen in love with this opportunity?
There are so many things, but it's really been eye-opening to me. The difference you can make if everyone has equal access and opportunity. I mean, the change in some of these players from the first moment they stepped on the field to the last, because they have interpreters and because people value what they bring to the table. Like, we're all better. I am so much better in my job and in my everyday life because they're in my life. And, I'm a better coach for hearing kids also because I make sure my game plan is more clear. I make sure I stick to the topic. I don't ramble on. I mean, there's a lot of things. Okay. Joy's listening to me right now, and she's disagreeing with the fact that I don't ramble on. I ramble less, let's say that. There's a lot of things that I've taken with me that I've learned, and I thought I was, I think we both stepped in thinking that we were going to support the team and help the players, but I think it's been the reverse, where they've helped us as much, if not more.
Is this a situation where just because there might be a challenge, you mentioned the levels of hearing loss for some of these players where they're just overlooked, like no one wants to give them a chance, and there's probably some really talented players that people are going to get a chance to see this week.
Yeah, I mean, some players haven't had the chance to be coached. We have a player here that 2 coaches called and said, you might want to take a look at her. I think she'd do really well if she got the information, but we just don't coach her. And that's what happens to a lot of these players is they just kind of let them move on and say, well, she doesn't get it, but I don't know how to communicate, and I'm not going to try. And it's not that hard. If people would just try, you can text, you can pantomime, you can, grab a kid by the shoulder of her jersey and move her in a position and not be so uncomfortable with the fact that they're different. So I do think a lot of players get overlooked. So I think some of these kids may not be at the level today, and even a week later might show that they're just going to trend in the right direction because they're and they have the ability to learn.
She's Amy Griffin.
And honestly,
I'm sorry.
One of the reasons I came back here was this is a place I grew up quite a bit, being able to coach at UNM, and so hopefully these kids will have the same experience.
Yeah, and I apologize for jumping in there. Amy Griffin is the head coach of the U.S. Deaf Women's National Team. There's 15 players in Albuquerque for their summer training camp, and they're going to play the Lobos on Friday. I want to go back to something you said because I've served on the executive or on the board of directors for the Presbyterian Ear Institute. And I remember years ago when I joined, I went over to a school and was introduced to cochlear devices. And it's a device that helps hearing impaired and sometimes completely deaf kids and people hear. And I remember them showing me when they disconnected the device, the difference on the look on the face, like the communication disappeared, snapped, like all of a sudden the lights went off. And I want to go back to you saying you take away all their devices when they compete. You're going to do that today for these women, and how that is, and the difference you see in these athletes when you take away their devices and how they communicate and how they get information.
It is really interesting, and it's great that you had that experience. We've seen players that we've identified on Olympic development programs. And we've invited them into camp, and they take their devices out, and they almost lose their presence. Yeah. Right? They play very dynamic and very big, and then they come on the field. And almost the funny part is it's when the most important time comes. It's the world events that they struggle to find that presence again. And so getting them, I mean, they don't go into tackle as hard. They make these short little safe passes and don't just go for it, and are constantly looking over the bench going, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? And they're like, you've been doing it right your whole life. Keep doing what you've always done. And just, I think, lose this sense of confidence, or they're afraid that they don't have the awareness about the game that they once had, but it's always in them. So I think having them train without them when they're home more often and letting their coaches know, look, you might be getting a little frustrated with me, but I have to not wear these all the time, and I have to get used to reading the cues without, my hearing aids.
Here's a real simple question: how do they officiate the game? I mean, everything's by a whistle, right? You watch a soccer match, you watch a basketball game. You stop play at the whistle. How do they know when to stop, when there's a foul, when a whistle blows?
Yeah, it's even coaching at practice. In order to freeze the practice, the referees and the ARs will raise a flag, and then everyone that sees it will raise their hands as quickly as they're able. And then occasionally there's always a couple of players that are still running around to beat the band because they didn't see it. Right. But again, it kind of over time, these kids will learn, their awareness picks up, their vision picks up, because deaf soccer is a completely different sport than the one you're used to watching.
What was it like for you in 1993 at the University of New Mexico, starting a women's soccer program, and what did that do for your, the rest of your coaching career?
It gave me so many tools. I mean, I was an assistant coach after that for a long time, and everyone says, why don't you go be a head coach again? All of your stories are from when you were a head coach at the University of New Mexico. And I developed, I guess, maybe a little bit of grit and courage, and I didn't know anybody here. I tell the story of you just have to raise your hand and say yes and do things that maybe, I think I turned the job down initially, and I said I wasn't ready. And a good friend of mine says, you're never ready to do something you've never done before. You got to do it. you do it, you're going to call back and say yes. And so I did, and I got in the press conference, and they said, you're kind of young to be a head coach. How do you feel about starting the program? What a wonderful opportunity. And I literally said, yeah, I'm really happy to be. And in the middle of that sentence, I started bawling in my first press conference. So I had a phenomenal time learning. I mean, us and the new players, we had 17 rookies. We learned a lot by failing forward. And that's the best way to grow, is you just have to go for it. And when you make mistakes, you'll be better the next time. And I knew that for these players, we're going to have quite a few hardships. So we better have fun while we're doing it. And that culture that was here, it's never left me. And these players on the Deaf team, we're going to go hit the Sandia Mountains and ride the tram tonight. And
beautiful.
It's more than the X's and O's. It's about the people in it. And I learned a big piece of that right here.
Why'd you bring camp back here? Do you have a relationship with Heather? Why here for this U.S. national camp?
Well, I know that Heather is a phenomenal person and coach, and she treats her teams the same way. And the facilities are unbelievable. It is worthy of a national team, and I want these players to be treated just like the full national team players. And it's fun to be in a city that's excited about us being here. We have been places where it's like, oh gosh, we got to clean the field for the deaf players, or I don't know what's going on. This lady Amy, wants us to, have a camp. But the community, we have this camp on Saturday at UNM for all kids, and we'll meet some deaf kids for sure, and they'll get to see some amazing role models, and we'll meet some hearing kids that will be more comfortable the next time they see a deaf person, at a Starbucks or a Lotta Burger at Blake's, and that'll be worthwhile. And so, yeah, the community here has been unreal, and I knew it would be. And so that makes training camp a home run.
Amy, this was awesome. Really enjoyed this, and I hope we can stay in touch with you as you get closer to the Deaf Olympics next year in Tokyo. But thanks for spending some time with us. Great having you back in town. The conversation was great, and enjoy your time. And we'll be out there. JJ's going to have the call on Friday night on the stream against the Lobos. And best of luck with these ladies. Congratulations on all your success, and honestly, thanks for what you do and the way you do it.
Thank you so much for covering. I hope we see a lot of people out at 7 o'clock on Friday, and go Bows.
Be well. Amy Griffin. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
That was terrific. It's just, she's been the women's soccer coach at Washington at a lot of places. This is really accomplished woman. And now, where else was she? Head coach.
But she spent 24 years as associate head coach at Washington.
Yeah.
She's worked with the youth national teams, won a World Cup.
Yeah. Played on a U.S. national team. Yeah.
U.S. national team player, started the soccer program at UNM.
Yeah. I'm just telling you,
great.
when years ago, and this is what got me on the board at the Presbyterian Institute years ago. Are you familiar with the cochlear device where it's kind of a magnet, and it's they took the magnet off of this young man's head, and I watched the lights go out. It was like there was this bright, vibrant child, and all of a sudden they disconnected that, and that child couldn't hear anymore. And it was like, whoa, I need to help. I want to help, and that's what got me on that. And so that's why this was so fascinating for me, anyway. All right, you can get in 505-246-0610. That was amazing to me. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. And I want to hear what you have to say when we get back. Hey, heat's rising. It's hot. Why don't you call On the Spot Automotive Detailing and have them work with you on window tinting? Keep the sun out, keep the people out, and just stay cool. It is the best you can get. They're a certified 3M dealer. That means On the Spot Automotive Detailing has the best product on the market. And you can talk to them about ceramic tint, which blocks 99% of UV and infrared rays. Keeps your car looking great, feeling great, and they will also detail your vehicle. And that's what they do the best. They are the best in the city. They're awarded best in the city because they are best in the city. They come to you where it's convenient, when it's convenient, and they detail your vehicle. Inside and outside, around the rims, under the hood, under the seats, all those places that you don't get. And they do it better than, with all due respect, better than you can. This is what the pros do. This is how the car dealers do it. They get their cars detailed, and on-the-spot automotive detailing is the best. Give them a call. Have them take care of your vehicle. 505-859-2859. 505-859-2859 or online at otsdetailing.com.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Oh, 505-246-0610. John, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I heard the name Amy, and that was Amy, formerly Amy Allman.
That's correct. Yep, that is correct.
She was actually the starting goalie on the women's national team that won the first World Cup.
That is also correct.
And I took a licensing course from her back, in the 90s sometime when she was the UNM coach. And it was by far the best coaching course I'd ever taken.
No kidding.
And she actually kind of, with her and the inspiration, I thought I had just failed miserably. And she goes, you aced it. It gave me the motivation to advance my soccer license, because it's a tiered thing up from F all the way to A.
Right.
Okay, and so I got as high as a C, but and I'm still coaching soccer today.
Nice.
I'm helping coach my grandkids up in Santa Fe.
And Amy helped you along the way back in the early 90s.
She was incredible.
That's great.
And then also on the soccer vein, last week there was a story about Tommy Renfro, who wrote the book, The History of Soccer in New Mexico.
Right.
I would have him come out as a trainer to my girls' team when he was home from either Guam or from the Philippines, where he was also a national team coach. And he did, he coached Valley High School. He'd do a summer camp for us every year for a week. He had some really good stories, too.
I'll bet, John. No, that's good. All right, I appreciate you checking in with us, and thanks for the call, John. Be well. And John called at 505-246-0610. All right, this is really cool, and you're going to love this sweet deal. So here's our deal. It's Snuggle Cubs cookies. First of all, here's the first thing I learned about Snuggle Cubs. And it's great to see the two of you come in and appreciate you both being here. First of all, good morning.
Good morning.
So they're 3 times the size of a normal cookie, Snuggle Cubs?
Right.
Is that that's the first thing I learned about it. Bill and Sue are here. They're the owners of Snuggle Cubs. They're our sweet deal. If you go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com, click on the sweet deal icon, and go there at 9 o'clock, you will get half off of Snuggle Cubs cookies. So $21.50 for $43 worth of cookies. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. So basically what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to buy and send a dozen cookies throughout New Mexico, wherever you'd like them shipped.
All right. Here, look, I'm looking at snugglecubscookies.com. So they're all New Mexico theme based, right? So you've got the Old Town cookie and the Route 66 cookie. You've got the UNM Lobo Louie and the Lobo Lucy, and an Easy Aggie fan. They got a Pistol Pete's as well, and they even have an Eastern New Mexico University Victory cookie. How do you talk about all the different cookies and why the New Mexico themes?
Well, speaking with the collegiate cookies, a portion of those sales go back to student activities.
Beautiful.
So that helps out the universities.
So you're actually working with the universities and helping them out on this.
Right. They're officially licensed. So we're really proud of that.
No, you should be.
A part of our company motto is just having sharing and being part of family. And, kids going off to college is a big thing. And,
yeah, I'm well aware of that right about now.
And identifying, with your university. So we're really happy that we had the opportunity to partner with all of these universities throughout New Mexico.
All right. So this deal, the $21.50, which is half price on the 43, is a dozen cookies, and it's over 2 pounds of cookies.
Right.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah. Our cookies are big and heavy.
All right. So go online, take a look at them. It's Snuggle, SNUGGLECUBS cookies.com, snugglecubscookies.com. They got more than a dozen varieties, including all that. The Lobo Louie, the Lobo Lucy. It's going to be a huge hit at your tailgate parties, which is coming up big. You've got the Labor Day weekend coming up. You've got all kinds of stuff to celebrate. You're sending your kids off to college. And so you can send her with a bunch of cookies. It's great stuff. They're giving back to the university, and it's our sweet deal. Did I miss anything on this?
No,
other than they're delicious? And this weekend's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Right. Great way to celebrate National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day is get yourself a dozen of Snuggle Cubs
cookies. You ever met anyone
cookies.
who doesn't like chocolate chip cookies?
I haven't.
No.
I mean, I'd have to worry about them. All right, take care of that. It's at sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the sweet deal icon and take advantage of Snuggle Cubs cookies. It goes live at 9 o'clock. Bill, Sue, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Jeff.
When we come back, we're going up to Farmington, and we're going to talk to Richard Neely. He's the president of the American Amateur Baseball Congress. They're putting on the Connie Mack World Series. Do we have a Connie Mack World Series cookie yet?
Not yet.
That's next. We're bringing cookies to Connie Mack World Series. I'm going up there this weekend. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, Sports Animal.
This report is...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
The Sports Animal. One of our state's biggest, best annual events is going on right now in Farmington, New Mexico. It is the Connie Mack World Series, been held up there since 1965, showcasing some of the best young baseball players in America. The Major League Baseball alumni that have gone through there is, just amazing. From Roberto Alomar to Dusty Baker to David Bell to Craig Biggio to Wade Boggs, to go down the list. It's the people who've come through Farmington. It's a who's who in baseball. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Get back to your phone calls coming up in a little bit. But Richard Neely is going to join us now, the president of the American Amateur Baseball Congress, the group that puts on the Connie Mack World Series. Richard, looking forward to getting up there and seeing you. How you living?
We're living long days, long nights, and tired, but we're having some fantastic, great baseball.
Yeah,
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Richard. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. And for those of you who aren't familiar, it's some of the best baseball, period. And the championship game is going to be on CBS Sportsnet on Saturday at 8 o'clock. It's where you watch a lot of Lobo games. I'm going to have the play-by-play with Ray Birmingham and Scott Galletti. Looking forward to it. I just been watching the games, and man, you've had terrific games to get started.
Yeah, we really have. Today we come down to, we've got 6 undefeated teams, and we've got 6 teams with 1 loss, and 3 of them will be going home today. So it's a big day, no doubt about it.
What does it mean to Farmington? And every time I go up there, I'm reminded what a big deal it is and what that region does for these young athletes.
The city of Farmington, beyond rolling out the red carpet, there's so many volunteers, over 300, that help put this great event on, 59 years now in Farmington. It's, a little over $4 million of economic impact. It's the biggest event in Farmington and one of the largest events in the whole state of New Mexico.
Have you had a fight to keep it there? There have been other people. I know, and maybe by now it's like the College World Series. All right, it's going to be in Omaha. Maybe people realize, all right, we're not getting it out of there. It's in Farmington, and it's where it's supposed to be. Ricketts Field is a terrific facility. You've got the other facility there. The community gets behind it. Like, all right, we're done. Nobody else is trying to take it.
Yes. We moved the national headquarters to Farmington 20 years ago. And one of the main purposes, of course, to make sure and keep this event in Farmington. And every year I get offers. I've had offers well into the 6 figures to move this tournament. But the difference is you're not going to have the same atmosphere. You're not going to have the same ballpark. You're not going to have the foster families. All these things that make this tournament so great. It's just, you can't duplicate it.
It's Richard Neely. He's the president of the American Amateur Baseball Congress. We're talking about the Connie Mack World Series. Explain to people who don't know what caliber this is. We're talking 16 to 18 years old. Most of these young men, or many of these young men, are going off to play college baseball next. But the caliber of baseball, if you've not, and I've been watching a ton of games, and I'm impressed every time I watch. But explain to people, like if someone says, Richard, so what is the Connie Mack World Series?
Connie Mack World Series is the best amateur event for what we call 18 and under amateur baseball. We a little over about 358 to be exact. Players have played at Ricketts Park that went on to make major league rosters. That's the caliber of talent that's in this event. As far as minor league baseballs, we couldn't begin to track them. You've got teams from all over the United States that spend the entire year for this goals to play in the Connie Mack World Series.
What's the town like around the game, just hosting all these people, the vibe, the environment, pregame, postgame? What is that atmosphere like?
It's truly amazing. I mean, and I tell the players as they come in orientation and so forth, I said, realize that you're going to have so many young girls and boys idolizing you. You're going to be a professional ball player in their eyes. They're going to ask you for your ball gloves, your hats, anything they can get from you at the end of the tournament. It's amazing. Even some personal items have been passed along, and I can take you to house after house in Farmington where people have grown up with the Connie Mack. They have rooms dedicated to the Connie Mack World Series.
Hey, JJ, that's one of the things that I noticed. And Richard, when I was up there last, I met probably 5 different families who gave me a list of ball players who have stayed with them, because they have billet families, essentially. The players stay with families. You got the community opens up their homes and says, here, you're going to stay with us for the week. And they talk about the players who stayed with them and how they've stayed in contact with so many. These young men are in town for a week, 10 days, and all of a sudden they got a brand new family for the rest of their life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last draft we just had, Carson Bench out of Oklahoma State, drafted 19th by the Mets, first round. One of the first people he called once he was drafted beyond his parents were his foster parents.
Is that right?
You know, and immediately started sending things to the new brothers and sisters that he had while he was here, the Mets. I mean, it's just things that you can't explain. And it's, I go back years and years. I mean, the Hall of Famers now that have played here, they still are in touch with their foster parents.
I mean, I'm looking at
wedding invitations. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking at names. I mean, Tom Seaver, Mike Schmidt, Ken Griffey, Cal Ripken, Robin Roberts, Ivan Rodriguez, JJ. I mean, the list of guys that have come through Farmington, New Mexico, Eddie Murray, Mike Mussina, right? It's pretty amazing. How would you ever put together like I don't know if you could. How would you put together like an all-time team? You couldn't, could you?
That would almost be impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just too many. I mean, the players that
Derek
have come
Jeter.
through, the Hall of Famers, we put 3 people in our Connie Mack Hall of Fame last night. And, Ryan Theriot played for the Midland Redskins. He played for LSU Tigers. He played for the Giants and the Cardinals. World Series rings on all those events. He showed, and he's wearing his Connie Mack World Series ring. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
That's a big deal. Hey, what does it mean now that it's grown and we're putting this thing on national TV? And so there's a live stream. You can watch all the games. You can go to gamevision.io and you can subscribe. And Scott's doing a great job calling the games, and the ProView Networks crew has done a great job, I think, televising them. And then to have the championship really, really highlight Farmington and New Mexico on national TV on CBS Sports on Saturday, that feels like it's now been taken to a different level at the Connie Mack World Series.
Absolutely. I mean, we're very fortunate that we've got New Mexico tourism and the legislature behind us now. With this event on CBS Sports, it's only going to enhance what we do here and what the AABC does across the country. And I can't be more excited. I mean, I'm just it's top-notch, the best amateur baseball you're going to see. They often compare it to the College World Series, and, of course, that's a whole different atmosphere in Omaha. But, again, 59 years in Farmington, I don't think anybody can match that.
No, it's something. All right, we got bracket play today. Tulsa Sandlot and Midland Redskins will go at 10 o'clock. 1 o'clock, the Mississauga Tigers against the North Texas Longhorns. And then the nightcap at 5:15 tonight, you've got United Baseball against the SoCal Renegades. All bracket play. You've got other games going on. Texas 12 and the Frackers go. That's the Frackers are the host team. Dallas Patriots against Doolin's Dodgers. Dallas Tigers against the Acadiana Cajuns. So you got teams from all over America. You got a full slate. The whole thing's on CMWS, Connie Mack World Series, cmws.org. Go check that thing out. And again, you can watch the games, but make sure you put it on your calendar to watch what's going on in Farmington, New Mexico, highlighted on national television. On Saturday night, CBS Sportsnet at 8 o'clock, I'll have the call with Ray Birmingham and Scott Galletti. And just can't wait to get up there because it really is one of my favorite events. And Richard, congratulations on continued success and what you guys are doing, because everything I'm hearing coming out of there, it's been a great week so far, and I just can't wait to get up there.
I can't wait to see you, and it's Farmington. We'll welcome you with open arms, and we're going to have a great event.
I know you will. You're always welcome here. Check in if you got anything big that you want to talk about, and otherwise, I will see you on Friday.
Very good, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Be well, my friend. Thank you, Richard. Richard Neely is the president of the American Amateur Baseball Congress. Have you ever looked at just the alumni list?
It's amazing.
Ricky Henderson, Ken Griffey Jr., Derek Jeter, Bob Feller, what? Rod Carew, Wade Boggs, Craig Biggio. They all went through Farmington, New Mexico. Yeah. It really is. Bobby Valentine was a manager. John Smoltz, Ozzie Smith, Tom Seaver. It's insane. Be proud of it, New Mexico. Be proud of it. It's one of those things, man, it's New Mexico. Barry Larkin, Derek Jeter, Randy Johnson. I mean, what are we doing? Those are all Hall of Famers, dude. All Hall of Famers. 505-246-0610. We'll reset for you at the top. And you're welcome to get in. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. the latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like me, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
The Sports Animal.
So you know what I just realized in the last hour? We got it pretty damn good around here. The Cloudcroft cookie, the blueberry lemon white chocolate is freaking delicious from Snuggle Cubs. It's your sweet deal. It goes live in 8 minutes. You know what people say, don't complain about what you don't have, celebrate what you do. I just heard Amy Griffin, the head coach of the U.S. Deaf National Women's Soccer Team, talk about how great the facilities are at UNM for soccer. I just heard Richard Neely talk about a 59-year annual event that's on a national scale that's up in Farmington, New Mexico, that alumni include Cal Ripken Jr. and Ken Griffey Jr. and Ricky Henderson and Tom Seaver and Randy Johnson and Derek Jeter and on and on. And sometimes we forget how good we got it and what we do have, and we don't celebrate what we got. And I don't know, man, this last hour kind of showed me we got some pretty damn good things.
Pretty good.
I mean,
now I'm super. You've talked about it for a while now, the Connie Mack World Series and how big that is, and seeing all the presence and the national platform that has, the athletes that come in. Among the other events we get to host in the state of New Mexico, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and all those names I just gave you are just like all the Hall of Famers. But I mean, I'm just looking at some of the big league players like Steve Howe, Todd Hollinsworth, Bert Hooton. I'm just in the H's right now. Just the list of big league players. Hell, Ed Kranepool played her. Who knew? Chuck Knobloch. I mean, those are just the Hall of Famers that are highlighted in yellow. But Jim Leland managed here. I say here in New Mexico. It's just mind-boggling. Don Mattingly managed here. Just going down the list of all the great players. It's and every once in a while somebody pops off to you, right? Oh, I remember that guy. I remember Mark Mulder, right? I mean, JJ. It's a pretty good thing. It's a pretty good thing we got going on. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Jack Perconte, the old Duke, played. Emails to Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. We're going to reset when we come back. There's a lot that's gone on in the Olympics. A lot that's gone on at the Olympics. What is this, man? The TBT. There was a spitting incident in the TBT. That's still going on just because Enchantment's
Kentucky and Louisville.
They spit at each other?
Post game.
What are we doing, dude? So I got a tennis
it's rivalry, right?
I guess rivalries don't end in college.
Wonder if there's a logo involved.
Oh, there better not be. You better not stomp on my logo. That's just disrespectful. Right? I mean, it is, right? Will you get me off the fantasy football page too, by the way?
Off?
Oh, I just got to stop. I just got to stop. Once you started talking about the fantasy football stuff, I'm like, just stop. Don't forget the Snuggle Cubs cookie thing. It's our sweet deal, and it's going live here in about 5 minutes over on sportsanimalabq.com. And you're going to love the Snuggle Cubs cookie because we do. All right, so when we come back, Coco Gauff was on the court today in Paris. How'd she do? U.S. men's Olympic team will play South Sudan. Canada played today. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and RJ Barrett tell you all about that. And they're spitting at each other, really, in the TBT. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, glad you're with us on a Tuesday on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, lots going on this morning or this afternoon in Paris. As the Olympics go on, it's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Get in on anything you heard this morning. A really good conversation with Amy Griffin, the head coach of the U.S. Deaf Women's National Soccer Team. They're in town for training. They're going to play Lobos on Friday. She is the first ever coach of the Lobo Women's Soccer Program back in 1993. That's when she started that thing. 93. That was really good. And I thought Richard Neely from Connie Mack World Series was really good as well. So you can comment on any of that. 505-246-0610. Olympics today, Canada and men's basketball. beat Australia 93-83. Greece got beat by Spain, so Giannis Antetokounmpo is 0-2 with his Greek team. Coco Gauff is out in the third round. She lost to Dana Vekic of Croatia, 7-6 and 6-2. And a really controversial moment when on a break point, the Croatian returned the serve and it was called out. And so Coco kind of let up on it and hit it into the net, and the chair umpire overruled it and basically said it shouldn't have affected her swing. And the overrule was right. The ball was in, but boy, that was tough. And JJ, this has got to be like the least surprising thing of all. Results this morning. So the men's triathlon final has been pushed to Wednesday because of an early morning water test. I just don't understand this. The results from the water quality test on the River Seine were insufficient to allow the swim portion of the men's triathlon to stay on track for 8 a.m. today. Officials already scrubbed 2 training sessions due to increased E. coli levels. They said the men's race is now scheduled for 10:45 a.m. tomorrow. The women's race stays on for 8 o'clock tomorrow. But Friday now set as the contingency day. What are we doing? So the river's too nasty for me to swim in today, but by tomorrow it's going to be fine?
I feel like that's a problem with a lot of rivers.
Okay, then
so why would you?
What are we doing?
Plan it in a river.
I got people from all over the world, and the E. coli, but tomorrow the E. coli level will be good enough, so you could have it in your mouth and it goes swim in it. And what are we doing? With all due respect, and it sounds like the Paris Olympics are going off really well and everybody's having a good time, but that's disgusting. Like, they've got to be better than that. I get it. They want to show off the River Seine, and they want to show off the beautiful sights around it and all the things that go with that. And that's cool. But if your river is nasty and you keep having tests that the E. coli level is too high, stop putting athletes in there. Find a lake nearby. Find somewhere else to do the swim. There's got to be a body of water somewhere, doesn't there? And if not, create one. You create everything else. You created moving characters out of the Louvre. The opening ceremony. I don't know, man. That's just where we are. U.S. women's rugby heads to the bronze medal match. So they're playing right now. They're playing New Zealand. What's the score of this? I'm kind of watching it, but there's no score up right now. I'll get to that. They're playing New Zealand in the bronze medal match. And Katie Ledecky's having a good day as well. All right, 505-246-0610. 888-922-0610. Emails come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Let's talk a little football. It's 5-0 USA over New Zealand, by the way. In the first. They play halves or quarters in rugby, you know?
Halves?
That was such a good look. You're like, I don't. It's okay. I don't know either. It's okay if you don't. You think halves? Okay. 5-0 in the first. Let's talk some football. Are you sold on Deshaun Watson this year with the Browns? I was over with TJ the other day on KKOB on Thursday, and it was our annual "How good are the Browns" conversation because he's a Browns fan. Gave him $250 million guaranteed. Is this the year that they get the return on their investment?
It's the ultimate. What if they believe that if he's available, they're going to be really good and they have to? They are stuck with Deshaun Watson until it's another season. If he doesn't perform or he misses more games, and you just have to eat it. But this is one I think when you guarantee him the entirety of the contract, you can keep asking that question. The answer is going to be, well, we'll find out, because he's not going anywhere.
Fantasy football, Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson?
I probably sit on Rodgers, even coming off the Achilles.
Really?
They're not starting quarterbacks, so they're going to be bench quarterbacks for you unless you're playing in a gigantic league or
you waited way too, or you waited way too long.
You can draft Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, Tua, 10th round or later.
The GM in Cleveland is Andrew Berry. He believes it's going to happen. Well, he better believe it's going to happen. And so reporters asked him, why? Why do you believe? Where's your confidence? Why do you believe he's going to be able to play at an elite level? And, quote, I think it's just seeing him every day, seeing how he prepares, seeing how he works in practice, seeing how he relates to his coaches. I think our biggest focus with Deshaun is just making sure that he's available. I think the rest will take care of itself, end quote. He missed 11 games in 2022. It's because he was suspended. He missed 11 games last year because of injury. He's played 12 games since 2020. Boys and girls, it's 2024. He's played 12 games since 2020. The Browns are on the hook for another $138 million for 2026. Remember, he got $1 million the first year, right? That's all because he's going to get fined. Let's not let the league take his money. JJ, he better be good.
Yeah, they have bent over backwards for Deshaun Watson and for nothing.
Are there guys that you kind of get over here and he works really hard, he relates well with his coaches? I mean, I get it. I understand.
That's all they
July.
have.
I understand.
It's all they have with Deshaun Watson. Like, that team is a good football team, and they feel that if they get
win their division,
good quarterback play, with
no, they didn't. They
flashes from Watson, they could be a legit contender in the AFC. Because Joe Flacco came in and won Comeback Player of the Year with the Cleveland Browns,
and he was their 5th quarterback, which is kind of crazy. Nick Chubb coming back. How much do you trust?
I think that's why they're willing, because they know the base is good. That's a good football team.
Well, defensively, they should be really good. I think Nick Chubb's going to. I mean, any guy coming off an ACL, you worry about. But Jerome Ford was good.
Jerome Ford, the solid enough running back. You have David Njoku, Mark Cooper.
Jerry Jeudy's
They
there.
traded for Jerry Jeudy, gave him a contract extension.
Yeah. No, they should be good. David Njoku should be, a second-level tight end, right? Elijah Moore's a nice number 3. It's all comes down to, he works really hard. He plays really hard. I mean, tell me what you've seen in the last 4 years, character-wise, play-wise, ability-wise. I mean, when you put this on this paper here, and I listen to the GM saying, I just see how he works. I see how he relates to his coaches. I know how. Dude, every quarterback in the NFL is working hard, aren't they?
That's all they got.
Every coach in the NFL is working hard, right?
They have to sell it to themselves that this is going to work, because they gave up everything.
They don't
gave
believe
Deshaun
it,
Watson everything.
They don't believe it, do they? I mean, sitting in that back room, if you went,
because that's the ultimate a quarterback away. The GM, the head coach, they have contract extensions. The roster, they built a good foundation across the board.
Yeah. The ultimate. I mean, to your point, give me a roster in this league that's just a quarterback away, and it's them, right? I don't. I mean, yes. Teams that need a quarterback. It's not Indianapolis. It's not Pittsburgh. It's not the Raiders. Yeah, they're the ultimate. It's a quarterback. They're a quarterback away. You put Jared Goff on that team, they're pretty good, right?
They're pretty good.
And they're already pretty good. They were still a wild card team.
Jared Goff outside. We'll find out.
Jared Goff outside in the cold, you mean? Well, but he's still going to have to play some outside games.
Dude, they played 3 outdoor games
all year. God bless him. How does that even happen? So their road games, the Cardinals aren't outdoors. The Cowboys are not outdoors. The Vikings are not outdoors. The Packers are. The Texans are not. The Colts are not. Holy smokes, the Bears are and the Niners are. That's it. And they're not even, so they got to go, the one cold game they're going to have to play is in Chicago, December 22. And it might be wet in San Francisco on the 30th.
It's a very good fantasy football environment, the Detroit Lions.
That's good living. Stock up on your Lions. Huh? Look at you. Like you've researched this stuff. No, it's good. It's actually really, really good. All right, 505-246-06. I mean, it's just insane. Well, I got to get you the spitting story, don't I? When I come back, I got to find it again. Where the hell is it? I'll find you the spitting story. In the TNT. Kentucky, Louisville, and Spit. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
95.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space, and you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, look, it's Dwight Goodman.
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Thanks, bud.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 7 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
All right, we kind of like our hoops in this state, right? I mean, I hear it a lot. New Mexico, it's a basketball state. All right, maybe. And you like it. Global Aggie games are pretty emotional, especially when both teams are good or at least they're comparable. It's a big deal. Remember a few years ago, they played each other in the TBT, the basketball tournament? The Enchantment against the Panamaniacs. That was a pretty fun day, right? Good crowding. There was about 6,000 people out there. Summertime, alumni teams. It was fun. Kentucky, the state of, they like their hoops as well. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. So, Louisville and Kentucky, the universities of Louisville and the University of Kentucky, don't like each other either. And they played last night at Freedom Hall in Louisville. JJ, they had 13,506. That nearly doubled the previous record of 7,200 in the TBT. 13,000. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
For a July Monday night in Kentucky to watch alumni from Louisville, the Ville, and Kentucky, La Familia, they went at each other. So La Familia, the Kentucky team, won. Andrew Harrison hit a three-pointer, and they won with the Elam ending 70-61. So afterwards, there's a celebration, and a guy named Nate Sestina, he led all scorers with 22 for the Kentucky team, embraced the Ville's Chinau Anuaku. And he put the L's down. It's kind of like the horns down thing, for Texas, the L's down. And Anuaku told Sestina, don't do that again. And then he spit on him. Spit in his face, dude. Like, right in dude's face. Well, imagine how it went. Pushing, shoving, security officials had to step in, prevent a big escalation. How do you spit in a dude's face? Like I get it. It's disrespectful. The L down, the horns down.
Who cares? That's
Right?
not like that's. If we're qualifying that as disrespectful, like yeah, it's a gesture. You're trying to get under someone's skin, just like talking a bunch of junk in a game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like one of the things I'm with you. Like if you want to get in someone's face and you kind of become the pushing dude or whatever, but like spitting. Like if that is an ultimate trigger.
Yeah.
Like I just can never think about, as mad as I would getting into it with someone in athletics, whatever it may be. Like I've never thought like I'm gonna spit on this person.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna spit in their face.
That's immediately like one of us is going to go to sleep. Right.
That's right.
Type of stuff.
Well, that's right. And one
it
of
might
us
be
should,
me, but whatever.
One of us should go to sleep.
Yeah.
Sestina, the guy who got spit on, quote, emotions ran high. That's what this game does to people. It had been a great chatter the whole game. Nothing crazy, nothing personal. And then it got personal, obviously. That's what this game is. End quote. Yeah, what's more personal than me hocking a loogie right in your freaking beak? Right? Honestly. What's more nasty than that? I mean, yeah, I guess there's a few things. But like in that situation, what's more nasty than spitting on a dude? Hawking a loogie and spitting in the guy's face. I guess this rivalry goes deep, and it goes back to '89, and there was a little brother comment, and whatever. You got former NBA stars on both sides of this thing. Montrezl Harrell played for the Sixers, and he led a Louisville team that had Peyton Silva and Russ Smith, the 2013 national team. La Familia had NBA players like Willie Cauley-Stein, Eric Bledsoe. This is pretty good teams. Cauley-Stein says, this game right here that we just played was the reason I decided to come play. This thing is different. I knew it was going to sell out. There's no other feeling like that. It took 10 years to get that feeling back. I'm going to ride it for the next couple of days for sure. La Familia, by the way, goes on to the quarterfinals of the TBT. After it was all said and done, Sestina, the dude who got spit on, L's down always. That's what he said. He didn't back down after he wiped a loogie off of his eyebrow. L's down. Isn't it crazy? The college. So these guys played NBA basketball. I mean, Willie Cauley-Stein had a career. Eric Bledsoe had a career, right? And these guys go back to play in that Louisville, Kentucky setting to capture that feeling. Kind of shows you what we got in college basketball, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I mean, the guys that come back all the time, right? They played around the world, and they talk about what it means to come back and play in the pit and walk down the ramp. It's really cool. Now, I mean, nothing cool about spitting on a dude. There's nothing cool about spitting in a guy's face. Disgusting pigs. But man. All right. This came down this morning. A former Mountain West running back retiring. Is this one of those careers that never happened? Rashad Penny, the former San Diego State running back, who was the first-round pick of the Seahawks back 6 years ago, and has been with the Panthers, is retiring. He was placed on the reserve retired list by the Panthers. But is this one of those careers? He was hurt a lot. Really, really, really good college player. First-round pick of the Seahawks. Is he kind of one of those that just never happened because of all the injuries?
Yes.
Feels that way, doesn't it?
And it's more expectations when you go in the first round.
No
It
doubt.
Surprised a lot of people. The Seahawks selected him.
You know what I thought? The guy right before him I always thought was a better college running back. Donnell Pumphrey was right before him. And he had a short career, but he was a terrific. That was when San Diego State and Rocky was there.
Churning them out.
They were just churning out great running backs, right? Because Pumphrey was amazing, I thought, collegiately. Small, way smaller than Rashad Penny, but I thought Donnell Pumphrey was great. Did you see was it ESPN who did it? Somebody did it. The best college football players of this century. I don't know where that list was. I was listening to it coming in this morning. How is here it is, ranking the top 25 college football players. Ndamukong Suh was 1, Baker Mayfield 2, Cam Newton, Vince Young, Ed Reed. And I'm like, wait. And then so the three that jumped to my mind, Tim Tebow, Reggie Bush, and Kellen Moore. Tebow's 6, Reggie Bush is 7. Did Kellen Moore make the dang list? Khalil Mack was 13. Guys who didn't play power football obviously tend to be overlooked, right? And look, taking nothing away from Ndamukong Suh, Baker was a great college football player. Cam was great. Vince Young was, sensational. Ed Reed was really good. Am I way too close to the Kellen Moore thing to think he should be higher?
No, because I think you should acknowledge even non-quote-unquote power players in a college football realm. I don't think Baker Mayfield should be ahead of any of those quarterbacks. Like, Mayfield had incredible numbers, but in terms of when I think about college football quarterbacks of the last 20 years, he doesn't jump ahead of Tim Tebow, Vince Young, Cam Newton for me.
He didn't make the top 25 list. Kellen Moore didn't. He didn't make first 10 out alphabetically. Like Christian McCaffrey, Marcus Mariota, Trevor Lawrence was unbelievable. Luke Kuechly was really good in college. Dwight Freeney, Michael Crabtree. How does Kellen Moore not make that list?
Like Reggie Bush, is
yes,
shouldn't be outside the top 3 in any conversation.
I can't agree with you more. He was 7th. I can't agree with you more. How about Matt Leinart should be on that list? I mean, that means you got to take someone off. I understand all that. But Ndamukong Suh, number 1, Lombardi Award winner, Outland Award winner, Bronco Nagurski Trophy, AP College Football Player of the Year, Heisman finalist. All right, he was really good. Baker.
Was there a Oklahoma alum that put this list together? Kyle Murray's not a top 25 college football player.
I agree with you.
20 years. No.
Tim Tebow was, and again, if you want to go by impact, but Tim Tebow was a great college football player. But I'll put Kellen Moore's career up against, any of these quarterbacks. Joe Burrow should be up there too. I get it. Khalil Mack was really good. Aaron Donald, 14. David Pollock, wow, 15. Deshaun Watson, there's your guy at 16. Roy Williams, Kyler Murray at 18. I mean, with all due respect, Kellen Moore was a better college player than Kyler Murray. That's the admission to me.
Even though Kyler Murray won a Heisman?
Yeah, he did. He did. But look at his full career. This is Kellen's 4 years. Well, I mean, he didn't have to play 4 years. There were some good ones, though. It's an interesting list. 505-246-0610. Who is the best college football player of the century? Anybody left off? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families.
Reports of Charles Barkley and Shaq went over to ESPN. Now the TNT's losing the NBA. It'll be interesting to watch. Charles had previously said he's going to retire if he doesn't to stay at TNT. 505-246-0610. Lobo Hobo says, who is Johnny Football, Jeff? Jonathan Paul Football. Johnny Manziel, one of the best players in college football? He was. Johnny Manziel was a great college player.
I'd have him on top 25 list.
Yes.
The guys, look, we're talking about incredible seasons. So it's, Kyler Murray, 4,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing. Unbelievable numbers. But I don't think of Kyler Murray as top 20 over the last 20 plus years. Or Baker Mayfield 2.
Baker Mayfield was way too high for me. Way too high on that list. Text line. My top 3, Tim Tebow, Michael Vick, Vince Young. Michael Vick was, if you look at his numbers, they weren't that great in college. I mean, he was great, but
he had that impact.
He did have that impact. Yeah, he did. He did. Tebow and Vince Young were unbelievable. It's hard for me to say top 5 of this century and not have Reggie Bush on there in college football. That, I know what I saw. Terry says,
and Vic last year was 2,000. So he could be on this list, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the century. Yeah. Terry's in on the River Seine, the nasty E. coli river. Jeff, when were triathlon athletes told race was postponed? They load up on a ton of carbs and pre-race meal, postpone a couple more times. They may have dad bods when they get to race. There was a show called The Swamp Thing 30 years ago about a guy who fell in a toxic waste lake. He could have he could have been a mascot for this race. Yeah, it's nasty. It's just nasty. Speaking of nasty, John says, good morning, fellas. Well, as Jim Rome would say, spitting in the dude's grill would be a definite reason to go. Man, talk about uncalled for. Crazy for sure. Yes. Louisville and Kentucky alumni teams played in the TBT. Kentucky team won, so the Louisville guy gave him an L's down, and the dude spit in his face. What the hell are you doing? Mike says, Albuquerque baseball team in Las Vegas. What do you expect, Jeff Lou, from the 2 middle of the pack clubs trying to move up the table? Split. What do you expect? I expect to hear it on the Sports Animal.
That's what I expect.
What do I expect? I don't know. I mean, split. That's what I expect. Will Anderson was on this list, the Alabama linebacker. He was really good. Honey Badger, it makes sense in the 20s. I'm down with the Honey Badger. He was a great college player. Julius Peppers was a great college player. Jonathan Taylor was a great college player. I'm not arguing with most of these guys being great college players. Lamar Jackson's on the list at 20. I'm just telling you, I think that Kellen Moore should be on this list. Best college football players of the century. And I think Matt Leinart should be too, for that matter. Matt Leinart was
about some of the best college football careers ever of the last 20 years. You're going to be nitpicking, but there's little things like, to me, Justin Blackman, wide receiver, Oklahoma State. That's swapping with Michael Crabtree.
Fair. I would too. At Texas Tech.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think this list is tainted. Sometimes if you don't have a good pro career, I wonder if it hurts you on these lists. Now, Tebow, it didn't hurt. But Tebow, well, maybe it did. I mean, he was knocked down at number 7. Right? Isn't that where Tebow is 6? Hell, Tebow had a top 5 college career. But just because he wasn't a great pro. Right? But who's the best pro? If you go through this at the very top, who was the best pro? Ndamukong Suh? Baker Mayfield? Cam Newton? Vince Young? I'm waiting. Ed Reed would be the best pro, like the best pro. As you go down the list from top to bottom, who had the best pro career? The first one where you just go, wow. Ndamukong Suh had a good pro career. Baker's still in the middle of a decent one. Cam Newton got to the Super Bowl once, but
Aaron Donald.
Well, but what about Ed Reed?
Ed Reed would be guys that talking careers.
Reggie Bush didn't. Brian McKinney. Joe Burrow's number 9. He's in the midst of one. Larry Fitzgerald at 10 had a really good NFL career. Yeah, I mean, there's some, but I've always said, just because you weren't a great pro doesn't mean you can't be a great college player, and it's okay that you were a great college player and not a great pro. So Reggie Bush. I mean, again, Kellen Moore, Tim Tebow.
I would have Kellen Moore ahead of Matt Leinart.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
And I think Matt Leinart was good, but I don't think he would be.
I'm okay with that.
Pop for me on the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's right. I think that's correct. But I would have Kellen Moore on this list. And look, it's hard, right? Quarterback almost needs to be a different conversation sometimes.
Like there's only, so they have Khalil Mack on the list.
Is he the only non-power conference player on the list?
Buffalo, and I think he's the only.
He is. Louisville wasn't power conference at the time.
Player.
Yeah, Louisville might not have been at the time. Were they? When Lamar was there?
You ACC. Yeah.
They were?
Yeah.
Okay. So the only non-power 5 player is Khalil Mack, and he's at 13. Even on the honorable mention, there's not another one. I think that's crud.
Your list is crud.
Well, look. The year Marshall Faulk went nuts and Gino Toretta won the Heisman, like Marshall should have won the Heisman, but he was from San Diego State. They weren't going to give it to a guy from San Diego State. So they gave it to a guy from Miami, and Gino Toretta. I mean, Marshall went on to have a pretty damn good. It's funny. I talked to him about that at dinner last year when he was in for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, and it still pisses him off, and it should, because it pisses me off that Gino Toretta won that. Marshall was pretty cool with most of that stuff, but you could see that kind of got him a little bit. But yeah. All right, so that's out if you want to look at that and get into that. 505-246-0610. It's how to get here. But ESPN put out a list of their best college players of the century. First 25 years, 0 through 24. Interesting stuff. All right, what do you got in the NFL? You got more camps going on. You're going to get some football on Thursday night. The Brandon Ayuk holdout continues. He's looking for a contract with the Niners. Deebo Samuel, his teammate, expects it to happen. This was Deebo to NFL media on Monday. Overall, it's a tough situation going through it in 2022. It's just some things you take personal that don't need to be taken personal. Overall, it's just a stressful process because at the end of the day, you want what you think you deserve, and your team has to work with this team, and it's so much back and forth. So at the end of the day, something has to give, something has to work out, but I feel like it's something that's going to happen, end quote. I mean, they all feel like it's something that's going to happen. Ricky Pearsall, the rookie, just came off the non-football injury list. He was a 31st pick overall. He had a hamstring injury. Kyle Shanahan says it's going to work out. I don't know why this one of all of them, and maybe it's because it's the noisiest. Like CeeDee Lamb's I get, but I haven't heard a word out of CeeDee Lamb. Have you?
No.
Jamar Chase is holding in. I haven't heard a word out of Jamar Chase. Have you? Micah Parsons, I haven't really heard. The Ayuk one, maybe that's why I'm just like, whatever, man.
From his stuff he posted a couple weeks ago?
All summer. Yeah, all summer. I want to trade. I don't want to trade. No, we're going to make it work. I don't know. And it shouldn't be that way for me, but it is.
This is one of the 49ers. At some point, you can't pay everybody. Like, you've been a very good team. The players understand where they're at. Fred Warner, their linebacker, was talking about it last week, understanding, hey, these are good problems to have because it shows the talent that they've amassed. But if you believe Brock Purdy's that dude, then you say, peace out to Brandon Ayuk. Because you have Deebo Samuel still on their contract. You have George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey next couple of years. You just invested a first-round pick in a wide receiver. So if you think Brock Purdy is this guy, and yes, he's been surrounded by incredible offensive talent, you're not going to continue to be that good giving Brandon Ayuk a big deal, plus playing Brock Purdy, plus trying to keep your left tackle Trent Williams happy for the final year or two of his outstanding career.
So when you say
you
just don't sign him, you're under contract.
All right, Brandon Ayuk, you want to sit out this year, not play?
Fine.
So be it. But at some point in time, you have to understand you can't pay everyone, especially when the quarterback is there.
And you're the guy who's out. So you can leave after this year, but you're making $14.5 million.
It's bad timing for Brandon Ayuk because he's put up numbers. He's a player that deserves to get paid. He's not in that $30+ million per range, but it's just timing of it all. Like any other team, you'd figure they would lock Brandon Ayuk in and move on. But for the 49ers, look at how they're going to stay consistent with Brock Purdy getting his payday coming up. Probably means Brandon Ayuk's not going to get paid.
So it kind of sucks for you, but we're going to pay that quarterback instead of you. And we've been very fortunate that we've been paying a quarterback under $1 million a year for the last 3 years. But now we got to pay that dude, and sucks for you. I mean, it's kind of that simple.
Yeah, and you look at these other situations, kind of what we're seeing with the wide receiver ones are the talent. I think about Miami. It's Waddle and Hill that they've invested a lot of money into with Tua getting paid. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts has a sizable contract. It's Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley, a decent chunk of money. And then so you say, all right, well, the 49ers have paid Deebo Samuel. They have paid Christian McCaffrey. I'm sure Kittle's contract is upper echelon when it comes to tight ends, and someone's going to be out on the outside looking in, and it's going to be Brandon Ayuk.
I think that's probably the way it's going to go. And that's what's bothering him, and that's why he's been so vocal about it, because he sees the writing on the wall. And so he'll play this year for $14.5 million, and he'll hit the market next year and get paid.
I think it's not where you want to be as an athlete. I understand that. You go out there, and you don't have guaranteed money after this season, and because he's not, Dak Prescott, things like that, where, even if it's a bad year for Dak, he's still going to get a sizable contract somewhere on the market, because you go out there, if you're Brandon Ayuk, you can tear your ACL. And then your value is slashed in half. So you understand it from the business side of it. I think San Francisco was hoping that they could get through this season. And then Deebo does have an out on his contract where they could have moved on from Deebo, went all in with Ayuk as their number one wide receiver. They kind of had that transition. But Ayuk has thrown some more wrinkles into that plan.
Well, he's opted to just play it a different way, which is his prerogative, certainly. All right, when we come back, I'll wrap it up. Everything you got to know as you go through your, what day is today? Tuesday. And still time for your phone calls at 505-246-0610. That's also our text line. It's the opening drive. Jefferson Beata, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space, and you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot! Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own.
Sports Animal.
OD, and here I am on a Tuesday, second to last day of July. You can take the top of August off, just kind of celebrate the beginning of August.
It's this huge celebration.
The celebration of August, your birthing month. I get it. 505-246-0610 if you still want to come in. 888-922-0610. Headlines this morning. Canada beat Australia 93-83 in men's basketball at the Paris Olympics. Meanwhile, Spain beat Giannis Antetokounmpo in Greece 84-77 today. Coco Gauff is out at the Olympics. Third round, she lost to Donna Vekic of Croatia. Really controversial, tearful, emotional, uncomfortable watch. There was this really, I've never seen anything like it before. There was on a break point, a serve return that was called out. And so Coco kind of eased up on it. And then the chair umpire overruled it, ruled it in, and she lost the point and tried to appeal and make her case to the judge, and she fell apart after that. And imagine this, there's too much E. coli in the river, so they postponed the finals of the triathlon. I just, what are we doing? What else you got to know as you go through your day? It's the trade deadline of Major League Baseball coming up at 4 o'clock our time. So watch the trade deadline. Rashad Penny, the former San Diego State running back, has retired from the NFL after 6 seasons. And USA is going to play South Sudan next in men's basketball after the women were winners 102-76 over Japan to improve to 56-0 in Olympic play since 1992. If you missed anything on the show today, you can find it on our podcast, wherever you get that, and go to our website, sportsanalabq.com, click on Opening Drive, and you can catch Amy Griffin. She is the head coach of the U.S. Deaf Women's National Soccer Team, and she was with us today, as well as Richard Neely, the president of the American Amateur Baseball Association. Germany just beat the U.S. women in 3-on-3 hoops. JJ, what does that mean to me? Is that pool play? Or?
Come on.
No, I'm watching them celebrate. So who's our 3-on-3 women's basketball team? It's pool play. So 17-13, Germany beat. Yeah. I mean, I'm supposed to be stunned by this, right? Because our women don't lose in basketball is what we were kind of talking about. But 3-on-3 women's basketball, I'm just watching Deutschland celebrate the victory over the United States of America, 17-13. But we dominate in hoops, JJ, especially women's hoops, don't we?
That's something to watch out for.
Yeah, all right, but not in 3-on-3. Yeah, not in the 3-on-3. All right, you get football in 2 nights from tonight. Tonight will be.
Why isn't Caitlin Clark playing on that team?
If she'd have played, they'd have won. I mean, if it was her and Angel Reese and give me another rookie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I mean, just throw them out there. All we got to do is roll out the balls and we beat people, right? Isn't that how that works? I mean, it's really that simple. Hey, if people missed it earlier, let people know what's going on Friday. So you're going to have the call Friday. And where can people find that?
So it will be on the Mountain West Network stream. So essentially wherever you watch.
So you could just go to golobos.com.
Golobos.com. Yeah. It's going to be on that same streaming platform, same process for you there. Of course, UNM producing the broadcast. Chase Christensen and his crew always do a fantastic job. And we'll have that game Friday night at 7:30. I'm looking forward to it and just learning about the story and Amy Griffin and the team. I'm very excited to be a part of this.
This is the team that'll represent the United States next year at the Deaf Olympics in Tokyo. And Amy was with us. If you missed it, go catch it. Amy was the first women's soccer coach at UNM back in 1993. Gone on to a terrific career. She played for the U.S. national team in 91, started the program here, has been up at the University of Washington for a long time. And so they've got the U.S. Deaf national team training camp here in Albuquerque this week. And one of the things she said is because the facilities are so good, I want them to be treated like they deserve to be treated, which was great to hear because we hear about how bad facilities are so often. But the soccer complex is pretty good in regards to a collegiate soccer complex. And obviously good enough for the national team, for the women's deaf team. And it's really, really kind of cool. That women's team, by the way, 38-0-1 in international competition. They've won 4 Deaf Olympic gold medals in 5, 9, 13, and 21. 3 world championship medals. And it was just fascinating conversation because, like she said, she's learned so much from it. And, you know, how do you stop? You blow a whistle. So they put up a flag and then all the players stop and they put up their hands until everybody sees it. And that's how they stop. Her communication style obviously has had to change. And when the athletes are on the field, they have to take out all their devices, hearing aids, cochlear devices, all those things. Which is, I mean, just imagine imagine going through life, period. But, you know, what do we hear all the time in sports? We got to communicate better. We got to communicate. We weren't on the same page. Think of the challenges there, right? And you just find another way to do it.
Yeah, and to hear the story of how her and her assistant, Joy Fawcett, in 2015 volunteered. They're like, do this for a year, help out. And now they've been there 9 years. It's going to be a decade when they head to the Tokyo Olympics next year. And the challenges, because U.S. soccer didn't, some of the stuff I was reading, wasn't until the last 2 or 3 years where they actually started to invest in this program and help out with things. And so you're looking at a roster, too, that has players that are from like 17 years old to 40.
I think that's something, if you got a chance to get out there Friday, I think you'll enjoy it. All right, thank you to Amy Griffin and to Richard Neely. They were both with us today. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherd will be after that. 2 Men On's in at 4, and then you get Isotopes in Las Vegas tonight. Open up a series with Las Vegas 51s. Adrian looks great on the TV side. Thank you. Great work. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby,